Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of On Voyage with your girl, Alicia. The podcast where it's like a Yelp review, but for travel. Happy spring, y'all. It's officially April, and that means it is National Military Children Appreciation Month. And if you didn't know, my dad was in the Army growing up, so shout out to him. But this month is about me, okay, period. So y'all should appreciate me because it wasn't probably for the military. I don't know if this podcast would be out, okay? But yeah, I'm just playing. But if you grew up in the military, if you served, or if you're a child, or if you know somebody, let me know in the comments on Bond Voyager Podcast Instagram. Just want to say hey and what's up to y'all, because I do feel like the military, got me into traveling. Like, it was just second nature. Like, you move around and stuff like that. So it's just really been a part of my life ever since I've been born. And I was just like, wanted to share that with you all just so y'all can know me a little bit more, because I really grew up like a domestic nomad, for real, if you think about it. I just learned that word for real. I already knew nomad, but to add a domestic part, I was like, But I just learned that because I just did a podcast interview on the Relocate podcast with the host, Kirsten. And she interviews people who relocate. And so if you're interested in that type of content, you should check it out on IG, the Relocate podcast, after you finish watching this, okay? But I'm on the next season, and we were just talking about me relocating and stuff like that. And she's like, I was like, yeah, I'm really like a kind of a nomad. And she's like, yeah, really like a domestic nomad. I was like, yeah, that's true. I like that word. So definitely check her out. My episode will be coming out next season, so like towards the end of the summer. But yeah, I will say, if you like that type of content, you want to know about relocating and how people feel about it, yeah, go check her out, so there is that. All right. But in today's episode, I am highlighting 5 spring travel destinations that should be on your list. Okay. So, I don't know if you think about Q2 or spring travel, but it's like from April to the end of June. So I have been to all these cities that I'm going to share. And when I think about where I want to go, I think about the budget, how friendly that is, the weather, and things to do. So that is kind of how I created my list, all right? But before we get into it, though, let's talk about some travel news and updates. So y'all probably seen it already, but sadly, Southwest was my favorite airline because of the 2 bags, child. But they was expensive when you be going to looking at their flights and stuff like that. So I'm like, child, but to not be having no perks and long layovers, baby, I need a new airline. And I also like Southwest because they did straight flights sometimes. I don't like layovers for real. I don't like getting off the plane doing it. Like, no, ma'am. I don't have time for that. So I was a Southwest baddie, but child, now they're getting rid of the 2 bags. I'm like, where am I going now? Like, American, baby, United too small. And personally, Delta always has an issue. And Spirit is cool, but they be doing too much with the fees and stuff. And I'd be like, child. And then I flew Frontier one time. I was like, I don't know about them as well. But let me know what airline y'all are flying, because, I need to figure out something, okay? Yeah, but I'm going to also upload this on my YouTube channel, Life with Leisha, so we can, kiki in the comments. So don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Life with Leisha, and follow us on Instagram as well as Bomb Voyager Podcast, so we could chat up in the comments, so I can talk with y'all in real time. But yeah, there's that. So let me know if you like that segment, the travel news segment, talking about what's going on. And next, since it is springtime, I want to share with y'all some travel tips, okay? Because springtime brings spring break, brings a lot of people, and it gets expensive. And, Florida going to be packed with the college students, the high school students, child, the family, just everybody. So, if you don't want to be in long lines for the airport and stuff like that, you can always think about road trips. That might be a better idea. Or knowing like when your area has spring break in your city, so you can go when there isn't no spring break, so the airport won't be busy. So that's just a little tidbit, little tidbit for you. But I'm going to be sharing with you 5 cities now. One is in Florida, but it's gonna be okay. I gave you a variety. I tried to spread it out, around the country. But first up is Louisville, Kentucky. And if you did not know, I am based out of Louisville, Kentucky. So that is what I'm going to start with. But this part of the podcast is sponsored by Alicia's Adventures. Don't forget, if you wanted to travel in 12 months, you want to take 12 trips in 12 months, that you can get this 10% off when you purchase it because you are a Bon Voyager and you listen to the podcast. Just type in the code BTP at checkout and it's a digital guide. And it's on my website, luciousadventures.com, and it will be in the comments. So make sure if you want that to help you plan your trips and budget, then you get that so it can help you with your spring travel, with your winter travel, with your fall travel, any of those travels, okay? So, yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about Louisville. So, you may think, what's happening in Louisville, child? You might not know, but if you didn't know, it's one of the biggest horse race events in Kentucky. The first weekend is Derby. If you didn't know, now you know. But yeah, we have Derby every year around May. It's the first weekend, and that's one of the big highlights. But before, there's all these events, all these week-long events. There's Oaks Day, Derby, and it's just all these events at the track, so that you can kind of come and get a feel with it. And it's just good spirits around here. People are dressed up, going to events. They have galas and parties, and it's just so much going on that week. So, it's popping. So if you like things like that, you want a new experience, you could try to come out here for Derby. I actually worked Derby a couple years ago. And then this year I'm actually going to Derby. So, it should be a really, really great time. But it is a lot of people. So, if that's not your jam, a lot of people, we going to tell you to come a different month. But before, you also know that we're known for bourbon. So there are distilleries around everywhere. We have nice parks. We have a waterfront, which you can go and be on a walking bridge. You can end up in Indiana, you know what I'm saying? Or you can just go down by the water. It's really nice. And around that area is downtown. So there's the Muhammad Ali Center, the GOAT, all right? And it's a cool museum. They have different events there, different galleries. We also have a Derby museum, of course, about the Derby, and the Louisville Slugger Museum. And if you like baseball, then there's the Louisville Slugger and stuff like that, if you're into, that. So if you're not, interested into all the people with the Derby and stuff like that, you can come a different time. But in April, the festivities start for Derby, and it kicks off with Thunder. That's where people go down to the actual waterfront. And then there's all these different things happening. And then they kick it off with fireworks and stuff like that. But now it's getting really big that people are having soccer games and baseball games and events at the Muhammad Ali Center and all this stuff like that. And the KFC Yum Center where there's concerts and everything like that. And people are doing it. It's getting really, really big now. So, yeah, if that's something that you like, you could do that. And then, of course, we have local events and we have bookstores. We have Carmichael Bookstore, that's a Black-owned bookstore, Nomi Bookstore, something like that. And then, we just have local bookstores. So there's a lot of local businesses that just, have a whole bunch of stuff that be going on that you can check out. But yeah, if you aren't into big crowds, you can come another time and enjoy a play at the Kentucky Performing Arts Center. You go to our Science Museum or check out an event at the Yum Center. We have music festivals in the summer. We have concerts, and we have a diverse food scene. Honestly, we have Thai food, we have Indian food, we have African restaurants. Okay, it's a lot going on here in Louisville, right, for the food scene if you are a foodie. But if you are interested in coming, I have a Facebook, TikTok, and an Instagram page called Black Girls Guide to Louisville, Kentucky, where I share events of what's happening in the city. And I'm also working on a travel guide for Louisville that will include hidden gems, Black-owned restaurants. And you can also book me as your tour guide if you want to. So if you want to be the first to know about that, you can sign up for my email list. That'll be in the description below. Okay, so I could be your tour guide, or you could just follow me on social media, and I'll tell you like what's going on and stuff like that. And, if you message me, I can answer your questions as well too. Like if you want to know about a specific time when you want to visit, just hit me up in the DMs. Okay. So yeah, the next city is Nashville, Tennessee, and like I said, I'm based out of Louisville, Kentucky. So I actually did drive. It was a road trip to Nashville. I actually went there 2 times, but one time I went Easter weekend, and I did the Nashville like Black City tour. Like I just heard about different things, and I kind of just researched stuff. So there's like a famous street called Jefferson Street where like people did a whole bunch of there was black businesses there. It was music there. Like it was the street, I think in like the 60s and 70s or even 80s and 90s or whatever. And so I went to the Jefferson Street Museum, which is kind of like a house basically. So you can go and you can see all these different performers, like pictures who performed on Jefferson Street, which was really, really cool. Um, I also went and seen Meharry Medical School, the Black Medical School. I've already been to TSU, but I just went around TSU and Fisk just to kind of see what it was. And then Ian is called Alkabu Ian Bookstores, and that's a black-owned bookstore. If you have not heard of Bill Mead, it's a historic tour. It's basically called Journey to Jubilee Tour, and it's about slavery, basically. And so I went to see slavery cabins, and there was a wedding there when I was there, and I was so confused. Like, why are we having weddings at slave cabins? Oh, it's so nice. Okay, yeah, thank you. So that was a little weird to me, but if you didn't know, I am a writer, and I want to write something about like the African American experience, stuff like that. So I'm doing research on that. So that's kind of when I went there. If you're not into, museums and stuff like that, it's okay, but you can still just, try to look at everything else. There's also an African American music museum. Now that was fun. You can rap, you can sing, you could just see all the things that happen in African American music. That was a fun time. That's not traumatic to go to. And they give educators a discount. So if you are an educator, baby, get that discount. I didn't even go back, but still, I was trying to get the cheapest price. Okay. And I actually stayed downtown, like 3 or 4 miles away from the main street, the main strip. And my hotel had a shuttle which would take me to the African American Museum. It would take me to Slim and Husky's where I went to go get some pizza. So that was pretty cool that it drives you around places like that. And when I was there, I seen like a Love is Blind trailer thing. So that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, again, Love is Blind was there that night doing something. I don't even know what they were doing, to be quite honest. It was like an event or whatever. And I was like, dang, I didn't get tickets. I'm so salty. Okay. Then the public library has like a civil rights room. So I thought that was kind of cool to just see the women in civil rights and stuff like that, to see what was all going on and all happening. I really enjoyed that room. I really should put more pictures up about that because I don't think I really posted that many pictures about that. So yeah, you should check that out when you go there. There's a couple other things. There's a Beale Street Tap Room and Bar that's known for like live jazz and soul music. When I went there before, there was BB King's, but I don't know if BB King's is in Nashville anymore. So don't quote me on that, but that was, a good time. Eat some food, listen to some music, go downtown. And if you're looking for some good barbecue and Southern cuisine, that is there too. You can check out some black-owned restaurants. I only went to a couple, so I would just say just try black-owned restaurants. And then ask people, like there's all these black travel groups, ask people like, oh, what's good food? Or go on TikTok and just search Nashville black-owned businesses, because there is one where you could get hookah if you feeling some hookah, happy hour and some food. So, I would say check that out on TikTok because that would be a good way for you to find something. Nashville is always having something going on. There's so much happening too, but it's a lot of traffic and a lot of people. So just, know what weekend you're going down there. That's what I would say. I really, really want to go back so I can go to Opry Mills because they have an aquarium where you can eat dinner at, and I haven't got to do that. So I need to reach out to, some people to see if they want to have dinner at the aquarium and Opry Mills. I think that would be something like cool to do, under the sea. Okay, but I'm not a mermaid. So yeah, that was cool. The next city I would say is Austin, Texas. Okay. They had this fire Mexican spot, and I can't even think of the name, but they have some good Mexican. The food was good. It's a quaint little city. Just depending on what you're looking for. If you haven't tried In and Out Burger, that's there. You could try it. I'm not an In and Out girl. I'm the other one that's in California. I forget what they switched it to, but yeah, In and Out is not really my jam. But it's still good to try it. If you like going out, if you like, being able to just walk and bar hop and stuff like that, they have a really cool street, which is 6th Street. And baby, you could bar hop. You can go in the bars for free, get you a drink, and boop, 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 boop. That's really cool. I enjoyed that because I'm like, you don't got to stay. You could just hop and go, whatever. And first I was on a rooftop, then I was bar hopping. So it was cool. Then the next day, I was just like partying in Austin. I don't really know because then I went to a day party. I went to an evening party. Like, so it's just like, okay, like there's cool things. And these were black people I know. Like sometimes it's like, well, is there black people there? There was black people there. I'm not going to say that you see them everywhere. But when I went to the day parties and get the drinks, like there was black people there. I posted a little bit about that on my Instagram, Alicia's Adventures, if you want to check that out. But I also went to the Texas State Capitol. But I didn't tour inside. I just went around and then was just reading about all the history and how like Texas was really Mexico and baby, all that riffraff right there. Just looking at that. And then I went to the George Washington Carver Museum, and that just celebrates the African American experience and history in Central Texas, educational programs and cultural events. I really love that because I'm a museum girl and I'm a cultural girl, okay? And then if you really want to get into like the black experience, you got to go to the East Austin, which is the East Austin Studio Tours. And it's a historically black community. There's murals and cute restaurants. And I took pictures at a mural. I went to the black college there. It's called Tisselin. Oh, shoot. It's called Tisselin University. Let me see what it's called real quick. Do I have it on my mind? Tisselin. Oh, I'm so sorry, y'all. It's like Hill. It's like Hill. What? Yes, it's Houston Tillotson University. And it's a Methodist church. So I went there, visited that because I knew some people who worked there. So I was like, oh, it's cool. I just kind of wanted to see what it looked like. Trying to see what the HBCUs look like. Okay, over the city, child. Austin was not that hot versus because I went to Houston at the same time. Maybe Houston and Dallas are hot, but I heard that Austin was dry as well. But it wasn't that hot when I went there. It was a cool time. We even went to this bakery where they had pastries and stuff like that. I took a sign in front of Austin, so I love taking pictures at murals so I can remember where I went to. Cranky Granny's is like a black-owned restaurant. It's a dessert. They have like cinnamon rolls and pies and stuff like that, The hookah lounge I went to was Zula. And then, like I said, they have day parties everywhere. So that was really cool. If you're interested in it, there's a Texas Black Film Festival. If you're in town during that, they also have South by Southwest. They have a Bladen Museum of Art. It features African American artists and hosts events around black culture, but it's not exclusively black. Then they have black-owned restaurants, like sweet teas, and then you can enjoy some southern dishes because you are in the South, right? So yeah, that one was a pretty fun experience. I'm looking to go back to it. Let me know if you've been to Austin, and let us know in the comments where you suggest to go to. I think that's still really a cool thing. I have to go back again because I want to kind of go to Southwest by Southwest and just kind of see what it's like in that time. So that is the third spot. Tampa, Florida, okay, is the fourth. If you have not been, you should definitely check it out. I went on a whim for spring break, actually. And it was a cool experience. I just heard so much about it, and I just wanted to go. I didn't really get to experience everything, so I do kind of want to go back to it. But anytime I'm going places, I'm like, what's the black experience? What's the museums? What's the culture? Unless I'm out the country, I just kind of want to know what's going on. So I did go to the historic Central Avenue, baby, and child, they changed that up. It was apartments and stuff like that. Now, it was like a black spot, but now they got apartments, walking and stuff, and they like, they do all this gentrification, and now it's right by the hood. And people don't know about that, but gentrification is a whole nother episode, right? But they don't gentrify that area, so now there's like a park where you can walk at, but it still has like a mural, and it has like, it's a restaurant over there. The restaurant was closed, so I didn't get to check it out, but it's a historic area. You can walk, and then they have like different kind of statues that you can read about. And so I was just walking, and I met this man, and I was talking to him, and it was his birthday. I was like, happy birthday, y'all. He was trying to talk to me like, oh, so I'm glad it's my birthday. I see a beautiful woman, child. Not too much, sir. I don't know you. But he was just telling me about like the history and like when he moved to Tampa and stuff like that. So I thought that was really, really cool to meet someone there that seen the changes about what's going on. So I did go there, took pictures. I went to Chief's Creole Cafe. It was a Creole spot. The food was okay. I think I just be trying different things. So if you want some Creole food, it just all would float your boat. But you in Florida, so that is what it is. There's going to be different type of food, especially Haitian, like Hispanic food and stuff like that. I also went to the Dr. Carter G. Woodson African American History Museum, and they, were talking about how they're trying to fight back and like try to have educational programs in there. Because if you know anything about Florida, child, Florida is not for the people, okay? So they're talking about trying to like host educational programs, trying to like keep the history alive, and I really, really enjoyed that. And then they have like back area where it's like trees and stuff. You can walk around and like sit, and there's books there. It's kind of like a museum. Well, it is a museum, but it's kind of like more like an educational, like they have events there and stuff like that, where they're trying to like hold on to like preserve our culture, I would say. So that's kind of cool to go there if you want to. Also went to the beach, baby. It was barely any parking. You got to pay to park. Ooh, child, they just want to nickel and dime you so much. But I was out there. I was chilling. The park wasn't really that. The beach wasn't really that like packed, I would say, when you get down to sit. Now I'm trying to find a parking spot, baby girl. It was little, it was just a little bit more packed than I would like. 7th Street is not a big street, but it's a black, kind of like a black street. Like they have different restaurants there. They do karaoke. They have live music and stuff like that. So 7th Street, if you want to go there. I personally didn't go, but I do know like there is nice spots there. I forgot why I didn't go. I guess because it was late, but I actually like met the owner. Like they have like 2 different restaurants down there or whatever. So, when I go back, I'm trying to go back to Tampa, I will go to 7th Street. If you want to go, there's a Tampa Bay Black Heritage Festival. I think it's in actually April or May. It's one of those months, I think, but that's every year. So if you can't go this year, you can go next year. There is a Negro Spirituals concert in St. Petersburg. That's actually where I went to. That's actually where the Carter G. Woodson African History Museum is, and that's where I went to the beaches at. It's kind of like by St. Petersburg. But it celebrates the historical significance of spirituals and gospel music in the African community. And Ybor is known for its Cuban influence. Its African American roots are just as rich. That's what I was gonna say. Cuban food. Hispanic food, child, and Haitian food. Then there's a Dunbar School and Museum located in the heart of Tampa. It's the historical site. It highlights African American education in the early 20th century. So if you are an educator and you like stuff like that, I love being educated. I love going to museums. I also love going to, like, cool spots, taking pictures. So a lot of my stuff is going to be around museums and culture and stuff like that. So if that's what you're into, that's kind of what we're going to, share and highlight here. Okay. But the cultural cuisine is for soul food lovers. You can check out spot like the 4th Street Shrimp Store, Forte of Black Southern Cuisine in Tampa. Oh, if you're into like football and basketball and stuff like that, like you can go see the stadium. I went, but it was raining so hard. That was another thing. It was raining a lot, kind of. So, I mean, that's why I didn't really get to stay at the beach as much. And I was just like, okay, not too much with the rain, child. But I went to the football stadium and I went downtown to that area, but then I went back home. And then I just loved driving. It was kind of like a bridge, but it really wasn't a bridge. But you could see the water, and you could just drive. Like, now the speed limit is a little low in Tampa, child, but I really enjoyed just like driving, having my windows out, just seeing water. Like, it was just a good experience, So that was on my list as well too. But yeah. So I forgot to tell y'all this earlier, but I saved the best for last because I saved like one of my favorite cities, to the end. But so I don't know if it's the best for last, but it's my favorite city, okay? And it will be dun, 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 Los Angeles, California, okay? Y'all can say what y'all can say about it, but I really do like LA. I like the weather mainly. I like the weather, and I feel like that city actually makes me think and like kind of hones in on like you could be creative, you could do this, you could do that. So I would say that LA would be like a city where you think like creatives, nice weather and stuff like that. Besides all the other stuff, that you can see. You can have different experience in there, a bougie experience, a chill experience, depending on, what's going on. So, of course, if you have never been there, you need to go to the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That was cool just to see people's names on there. You could take tours and stuff like that. I took a tour and I seen like Beyonce and Jay-Z's house, if that's really their house, child. You see a whole bunch of actors' houses and stuff like that. So that was really cool. If you haven't, you could try Roscoe Chicken and Waffles. It's a black-owned restaurant. And then the beaches are nice, like I said. You could go to any kind of beach that you want to go to. There's like a boardwalk beach, and that's where I went to, the one with the boardwalks. And then there's like St. Monica Beach and stuff like that, so that's cool. I was young, when the whole Rodney King thing came out, but I went to the African American Museum, and then I seen the Rodney King, like section or whatever, and then that made me think of, the reference like Lil Wayne talking about beat him like the something Rodney King, beat him like a cop. So I was like, oh, okay, that was interesting. And if you are an Insecure fan, you can go to the Dunes, but I'm gonna tell you, it's right in the middle. Okay, so you just need to go there, drive. You just need to drive there because baby, we got a when I went there, I got like a lift and chow, but there's nothing else to do, so we just kind of walked around. Now the Mexicans are like selling, fruit on the side of the road and stuff like that. So we did try that, but there's nothing else there. So I would really say rent a car to drive there and just go do whatever you want to do. The Wax Museum is also cool. That was a cool thing to see, just all these people in wax museums. And I didn't go to this spot, but I know that it's known for like the black culture in LA. It's called Leimert Park, so you could try to go there. Then the Watts Towers, you can go there too. It was created by Italian immigrant Simone, and it served as a symbol of African American creativity. And then there's the Hollywood Black Film Festival, kind of just like whenever you go. And then definitely you could check out the soul food in LA. But I hear different things, like you can find good food, you can't find good food. So that's just up to you and what you like to eat. But there's a plethora different of options. But there's vegan food, there's that food, there's all these different type of foods there. So that is what I was gonna say about that. And I'm trying to figure out what the other burger spot is, because I got that in LA. And I think it is so much better, but I can't remember the name. So let me see. Oh, Waterburger. So maybe I do like In and Out Burger. It's Waterburger I don't like, actually. I do like In and Out Burger. Correct me. I'm correcting myself. Sorry. It's Waterburger I don't like. That's like that orange and white. But In and Out Burger is good. Their burgers are way better than Waterburger. Waterburger patties are just, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so that is my review of the top 5 spring travel destinations. Like I said, if you want to follow me on social media, that would be great. Bon Voyage the Podcast, Alicia's Adventures on TikTok and Instagram. You can get a 10% discount off for the travel guide 12 trips in 12 months. If you, excuse me, sorry. If you want to know about the travel guide for Louisville, Kentucky, you can sign up. All the links will be in the description. If you like this episode, make sure you leave me a review and rate it 5 stars. Okay, period. And also, if you like this type of episode where I do the top places in spring, if you want to top places to go in the fall, top places to go in the winter, just let me know so that I can kind of do it. I thought this would be a really good idea because, we're starting off spring. This podcast will be in seasons because I am going through a little rebranding, but make sure you check out all the episodes before this episode, and I will, catch you next time. But these episodes going forward be released on Thursdays when, the new season comes out. Okay, so I hope you have a great rest of your day whenever you listen to this. Bon voyage, well wishes on your travel. Let me know where you are going. Let's talk in the comments on YouTube and Instagram. And I will talk to you next time on another episode of Bon Voyage. Bye.